Enemy spotted near me.
3 jumped off.
Hostile over there.
All of
Okay.
I hit 2 tables.
Good work.
Perfect in the gold.
Using grapple.
I'm getting hit over here.
Gary is retarded says.
What is up, you guys, and welcome
No high
back to
ground,
the
hard
channel.
to
So
fight.
in today's video, we're going to be doing some ranked game. I know I haven't made a video in a couple of days now. I've been sick. No, I did not have the coronavirus. It was just a simple flu. I just didn't want to sound like a rusty old man to you guys. So in today's video, it's just going to be some rank. I was been on silver 4 this season. Back from gold 3. I know I said last season that my goal was to ultimately get to platinum by March 22nd, when there was a second split would come, but I was unable to. I didn't have enough time to be able to play and ultimately get to platinum. So platinum is definitely one of those ranks that you want to have a full team to be able to rank up to that. You can easily get it to gold by just solo player. Ultimately, you gotta do is just be the top 5 rank, just in general. Just be top 5 every game, and you're gonna easily get to that. You don't even need to get any kills. So it's not very difficult. It just comes down to getting to platinum and ultimately being able to go to platinum to diamond. You're gonna need to get more kills and have a full team that engages along with you. So it's a little bit more of a tactical / strategic type of gameplay. So I haven't found quite a team yet, so I'm pretty much still playing solos. Mainly to go through that season. The goal for this will probably be to get to gold 1, if not platinum, if I have enough time. I do have a full-time job, as you know, a lot of you do. So today's talk is ultimately going to be part 2 of how I was able to actually afford my house at the age of 22. Now I know a lot of you have been asking about this, and you know, more in detail, because I know last video I didn't provide as much detail. I kind of just gave you the overall aspect on how I find my house and all those things. So without further ado, let's get to it. Enjoy the gameplay. For those of you that haven't subscribed or anything like that, hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment down below. I will answer every single comment that I see. So those of you that already subscribed and that be watching every single one of my video, absolutely amazing. Thank you all for the amazing support, and see you next time. Thank you. Alright guys, for those of you that did not see my first initial video about how I was able to afford a house at the age of 22, feel free to go to the top right corner of this video right now, and you can easily find the link right there. Now, for the rest of you that have seen my video and just know pretty much more details on how I was able to afford a house here in California, pretty much the San Diego area, then you know, stay tuned for that. But first things first, I really want to say thank you all for watching, and you know, if you made it this far into the video. So as you all may know, I'm pretty much 24 years old. I'm not, you know, 26, and no, my parents did not buy the house for me or any other stuff. I actually worked very hard to pretty much achieve all those things. So first things first, just a bit of background for me. I was pretty much making about $26,000 to about $33,000 for the past 5 years initially. Now I'm making a lot more, obviously, but for the initial couple of years, that's how much money I was making. Now you're probably asking like, hey, how much I was able to afford / save from that. I was pretty much saving about 80% of that income. Most of it is due to the fact that I was in the military. So yes, I was in the military, so pretty much I had free housing, free, well, it wasn't free, but you know, I didn't get paid enough for me to be able to afford food and all that stuff on the side. So pretty much all the money I was making with the military and all stuff, I was able to just kind of put it aside, save up year after year after year. In reality, it took an average of about 4 years, because I was going to college at the time too, you know, spending quite a bit of money in college. Yes, the military pays for college, but at the time it was you have to be in the service for about 2 years minimum in order for you to kind of rate for them to pay for your full scholarship and whatnot. So I was in yet for 2 years, so you know, I had to pay out of pocket for all of it. Long story short, I was pretty much saving about 80% of my income. The other 20% was just me going out and partying, having fun like everybody else does. And that was about roughly about $30,000 or $40,000 that I was able to save up and put on the side. Now, what I put down for the house was a lot less than that, of course, because I did have to buy brand new furniture, had to buy a bunch of stuff to put inside the house and stuff like that. I did deposit about, on average, I think it was $25,000 for the house. But the house was valued at $460,000 when we bought it initially. Now it's worth a lot more, obviously. But yeah, so we put a deposit in of $25,000, which pretty much took me about 4 years to save for that. Now, I knew I was going to buy a house down the road. That was my #1 goal. It's just kind of like my American dream type of situation. I was investing in the stock market actively quite a bit during that time frame, so I did make quite a bit of money from that. So that's pretty much how I had quite a bit of a saving. But I didn't kind of view the money I had in the stock market as a saving. I viewed it more as an investing account. So I didn't really touch that money at all. But yeah, so pretty much I saved for 4 years. So if I was able to honestly save for 4 years, I get it, a lot of you make the same amount of money as I did for a little bit, and ultimately, you know, not able to save all of that because you have to pay rent, you have kids, or you have, you know, other responsibilities that doesn't allow you to be able to save $18,000 to $20,000 a year. So which I totally understand. This is kind of just my experience, how I went about it and stuff like that. So just do it what you can. Honestly, if you're able to, you know, save at least $1,000 to possibly $2,000 a year, it might take you 6 years to be able to buy your first house. But depending on the location that you are, you should be able to. Specifically, if you're somewhere like North Carolina or even, you know, South Carolina, when houses are worth anywhere between, you know, $70,000 to $150,000 for some of the medium houses, you know, the bigger houses. You should be able to, you know, at least have $10,000 saved up at the end of 4 years. So I don't think it should be quite that difficult. So yes, I was able to kind of drop down and give a $25,000 down payment for this house. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I was able to be extremely frugal for those 4 years. As you may know, the military does not get paid that much at all. Yes, we get free room on board, which we pretty much share with other Marines. So, I mean, if you want about 100 square foot to yourself, it's going to be kind of a little bit extreme, you know. So I know some of you may not even be able to do that. It's like having pretty much a room between you and your brothers for, you know, quite a bit of years. The food and all stuff, you know, nothing bad about the military food in general, just kind of different per se. So I'm not going to go too much in details in regards to that. But yes, I did receive all those things for free. Well, not really, but yes. But, you know, at the end of the day, I was able to save up all my money. I lived extremely frugal. I was not going out and spending money on shopping and any of those things that I did not need. Basically because, you know, I knew my dream, I knew my goals and stuff like that, and I just stick to it. So this is really what you need to focus on. It's kind of stick to your goals. If you want to buy a house, stick to that. Put $500 every single month aside, or even if you can't afford $500 and say you put $250, just put $250 every month. At the end of the year, it's pretty much going to be almost pretty much, I think, $2,750 roughly. You know, so it's not, after 4 years, that's quite a bit of money. That's pretty much $10,000. So you're going to be set. So you can just honestly just put a little bit of money every single year for a few years, and eventually you're gonna be able to afford a house. If not, you can put that money easily in a CD for a period of time. You're gonna see quite a bit of income return from that. For example, I actually had that for my first year. I had that on a CD at 3% return from my bank that he provided me, and I think I made out of $3,000 that I had in there, I made $300. So it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty decent. I think it was $150, something like that. So yeah, so just be frugal, save as much money as you can, and then just kind of focus on you. Ultimately, that's really where I want to get to this. Just you really need to focus on who you are, who you want to be, and where you want to get to. Don't focus too much on what people have and what you don't have, because if you waste time doing those things, you're gonna be miserable, and ultimately just it's not going to be good for you. So you really want to focus on yourself. You really want to focus on what your goals are, what your dreams are, and ultimately that will lead to your success. So that's a big part of my personal success and ultimately how I was able to afford a house. Now the market's not doing so well. There's different ways for you to make money with this market being even down, which I would teach down the road, potentially do some stock market trading videos, but just not so much right now. Right now I just want to kind of do some gameplay slash game videos of Apex Legends and Modern Warfare, stuff like that. So let me know down below whether or not you guys like me talking about financing and stuff like that. If you don't, just put it down in the comment below. I won't, I don't mind criticism and stuff like that. I actually welcome it because it tells me, hey, yes, I watched it this far, or hey, no, I didn't watch this far. I know I didn't go too much in depth about this in regards to pretty much to be able to buy the house and stuff like that, but there's a few key points that I really want you guys to focus on. Is pretty much save as much as you can, but don't just save to save. Invest that money, like I said, in CDs, like which CDs are pretty much certificates, pretty much that you can easily get from your bank, and then you save it in CDs, save it in index funds, mutual funds, and stuff like that, where you're actually gonna get money growth down the line. Save that for a few years, and eventually you're gonna have a little bit more than you actually save. If you put $10,000 in there, you can potentially look at 11 or potentially $12,000. So it's actually a pretty good return when it comes down to it. So look down the road to that. So that's number one: save to invest. Ultimately, second one would be to be frugal as much as you can. Focus on your goals, focus on you. Just make sure you're happy as you're doing it. Don't just do it just because, if you don't do it to be happy and ultimately you don't concentrate on your goals, you're gonna be miserable. For a fact that you're not gonna keep that money, slash you're probably gonna waste on something. The next step from there is probably just take a calculated risk. Don't over leverage whatsoever. Don't buy a house that you extremely big. Let's say you have $20,000 saved up, and you're gonna buy a house somewhere like North Carolina, where the average house is potentially about $100,000 to maybe $150,000. You don't want to buy a house that's like costing you $330,000 over there when you're barely making, $20,000 or $30,000, because there you're gonna be in a huge debt. It's gonna be extremely hard for you and difficult for you in general just to be able to afford that house by yourself. So don't over leverage. Just buy what you can afford, and ultimately you know for a fact that you can easily pay back. Another aspect that I would like to talk about, and ultimately that a lot of investors talk about, which is like Chris Stefan, Meet Kevin, and those type of real estate guys talk about, is ultimately the house hacking and the benefit of renting out your house or flipping the house. For me, it was more beneficial for me to just buy the house and ultimately live in it, because the fact that I am stationed here in San Diego, and ultimately just kind of makes sense for me to rent the house to myself as long as I live here. And down the road, whenever it comes down to me moving, if I can sell it for an income, then or for some sort of upside, then I would definitely sell it. If not, I would just keep it as a rental property and just kind of have somebody manage it for me wherever I will be from there. But yeah, so one thing I will tell you for sure is one way I was able to save money for me, myself, and pretty much my wife was that we actually house hack. We rented a few of the rooms that were here in the house, and rooms here go anywhere between $500 all the way to $1,000. So that definitely helped us pay the mortgage quite a bit, if not live borderline free. So that's one thing you should consider for a fact if you're having a hard time right now, specifically during this downturn with the market and stuff like that, and you're losing your job. If you have any sort of room within your house that it's free or open, you may as well rent it out. Honestly, don't wait too long on this, because if you're low on income right now, or your spouse may have lost her income and it's just you working, or even if it's, for example, just you moving out of the parents' house right now and you're living in an apartment, you may as well rent that extra room to your roommate or something like that. I mean, I don't know how your living is as of right now. If you have any sort of room, this is the perfect time for you to rent it out, because other people going through hardship just like you, so they may benefit from that as well. Because a room is a lot cheaper than a full house in some cases. So think about that. You can easily just have a secondary income. We were actually able to save an additional $10,000 just because we rented out some of the rooms in the house, on top of the fact that we were able to pay the mortgage fully. So it was beneficial to us big time, and actually just helping us raise more money for a secondary house or property that we're going to be investing here soon. So think about that. Think about the big picture. Always have some sort of plan to increase your income as you go. Yeah. So safe to ultimately just kind of invest in real estate, invest in stocks and stuff like that. Be frugal as much as possible. Don't overspend. Don't buy things that you don't need, because if your goal is to buy a house, focus on that goal. Focus on buying that house. So save for the house. Don't save for anything else like Jordans, any of those things that you don't need right now. The third thing will be pretty much just take a calculated risk. Make sure you do your analysis. Make sure you talk to the right realtor. Don't just talk to one specific realtor. Talk to 2, 3, 4, 5. And then ultimately just kind of show the property that you're interested in. Make multiple offers. Don't be afraid to kind of step outside the box and make offers, whether they low-ball offers or high-end offers. It doesn't matter. Just make offers, because it's going to teach you quite a bit about real estate. And then just go out there. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's kind of part of it. Just don't over-leverage. Don't overspend, and be smart with your own money. As long as you come upside, or if you have some sort of upside, you're gonna be good. I don't think the stock market going downwards is gonna bring the housing market quite down, because just the way the market is right now is structured based around mostly the loans and stuff like that we're going through, and the government just took an additional couple $1 trillion in loans. So keep that in mind. Honestly, it's just real estate. Anything that's got some physical value is worth more than actual cash down the road. At least that's the view that I have when it comes to the markets. So without further ado, if you have seen it this far in the video, absolutely thank you all for the support, for the amazing just the time you guys have taken to watch my videos. I really want to appreciate that. So if you did watch it this far, write down in the section, hey, I will be buying a house by this time. So just write down the day / the age that you will be by the time you buy your initial house. So amazing time talking to you guys. I really love doing these videos for you all. If you enjoy everything that I post and all stuff for you guys, write down in the comment section, like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.